If you are not familiar with a shaving horse, it is a specialized type of carpentry woodworking bench. Now you've got this arm that pivots and you've got this sloped ramp. Now when you push your foot forward on this bar, whole thing comes back and it functions like a very large clamp, which will hold a piece of wood in place for you, leaving your hands free to carve. And to carve, I'm going to use this tool here called a draw knife and start cutting down all that rough, split out wood until I get something a little bit smoother and flatter. So you can see how this works. Again, I push forward my foot, this bar comes back and holds that in place, which is very nice. I've got both hands free to carve. Now, if you've seen me work out the festival before, you've seen me use a very different looking shaving horse. Functionally, it's the same. Outline profile is the same. But normally I use a shaving horse that's made from one solid log. This ramp, seat here being carved out from a solid piece. Now, depending on what sort of project I'm working on, I could take this down to be very smooth, almost glass-like. But for right now, since I'm making a mallet, I'm not making any sort of fancy project. I'm not making furniture. I'm not even making a handle for a tool, something that I touch a lot. I just need this in the basic shape and get rid of all that splintery stuff. Now, I'm not going to use this whole section that I'm squaring off for the mallet head. I'm certainly not doing the handle. I'm starting off with the mallet head, because then the bottom half is going to be split for the handle. But I want to get past my dimensions. And so if you look at this, so this is misshapen, but I'm probably going to cut it about here and then about here. So everything up here, I don't really care too much about, but because I don't want to carve all that down, I don't want to make a sharp shoulder here that I carve immediately into the finished piece. So I'm going with a longer piece. It gives me room for the shaving horse to hold it, and then also gives me room away from the finished section where I can kind of slowly work my way in towards that final shape that I want. Now notice as I'm going through, I'm also cutting off these corners to where I'm not just getting a crisp edge square. I'm getting, these, I'm not going to call it a nice beveled edge. I'm giving it a beveled edge. It's partly aesthetic, and also in part having that beveled edge, it does help prevent the mallet from warping, because as it continues to dry, the wood will change shape. And if I start with that sharp square edge, over time it might do something like that and twist and bend. But if I cut the corner off, well, even if it bends a little bit, it's not going to bend in such a way that provides something that can split off. You know what, for this piece, I'm going to call that good.